What's good, everybody? It's your boy Riggy Marz, man. Welcome to the Relapse, part one. I'm gonna be doing short, like 10-15 minute segments of this, because it's long. But I gotta let y'all know. I gotta be honest, like I am with people in person in the program, and my fans and friends and online. I relapsed, man. Back in July 2021. I have 30 days sober today. My new sobriety date is Cinco de Mayo 2024. As some of you know, I had about 3 years. And for those that don't know, I had about 3 years sober in Alcoholics Anonymous. I prefer Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm not really a big fan of NA, I think gang banging and clean is kind of lame. You know what I'm saying? I like AA because that was a joke, by the way. I have a lot of friends, and NA has helped them tremendously. The steps are the same. The 12 steps are the same. I prefer AA though because it's the raw, original format from 1936, and I like my recovery like I like my dope, raw and uncut. And I want the complete transformation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go back to how this all happened, man. I know some of you are big fans of my music, and it's very hard to balance that sometimes in sobriety. I'd gotten sober September 26, 2018, and that was a strange time because at about a year and a half, the pandemic happened, and that was really tough. Like, we couldn't get to meetings at first, and then the Zoom meetings started coming out. But that's when I really dialed in my music, got signed with Sony. Fast forward to 2022, around when my boy Ryan Leone died, started Angelino Records. But that's when I really dialed into music, and the whole yes sir, my brother. We got some gangster guardian angels, y'all. What was I finna say? Yeah, the whole California sober thing. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. Like, it's really big in California, obviously. That came out around like 2020. It started getting really popular, and like maybe the pandemic had something to do with that. I don't know. But California sober essentially means like you smoke weed, maybe drink, and do natural psychedelics, so psilocybin, DMT, mescaline, peyote, that kind of thing. So my career started gaining a lot of traction, and I stopped sponsoring. Let me go back a little bit. Yeah, so I stopped sponsoring. I stopped answering sponsees' phone calls. I stopped being of service. Selfless service with no expectations of like monetary gain or anything. That's step 12. Like, that's what makes this recovery stuff go around, I know I'm kind of talking like a square, but I know if I cuss, they'll demonetize my shit. So I was dry, dude. I was a dry drunk. So abstinent, stopped practicing the spiritual side of the program, right? Not going to as many meetings, hanging out with more like normies and like people in the industry, etc., that use, and the whole California sober thing came out too, and I think I started thinking I was normal, right? Like, dude, I would shoot Union Station. That's the train station in downtown LA. I would shoot Union Station toilet water. Like, pull my pants down, sit down on the toilet. I'd flush the toilet, so it was kind of clean, but nah, there'd be like feces, floaties, and like urine. Like, it was still grimy, and I'd draw up that toilet water through my syringe and stick that in my arm. Like, that's not normal, dude. I would slam dirty puddle water, dude. on 7th and San Julian. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a normal thing to do. I could not shoot heroin like a gentleman, you know? I can't drink like a gentleman either. I get nasty. I get violent. I don't like alcohol. That's my last drug of no choice, right? But when I'm incarcerated, all I have is Pruno and hand sanitizer with the salt packet to liquefy it, to drink it. That's all I do. So I qualify as an alcoholic. If you're an alcoholic, you're an addict. If you're an addict, you're an alcoholic. Like, I'm an addict to with women. I'm an addict with spending money, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So I started thinking I was normal. Um, I had got the deviated septum, like nose surgery, you know. Unless you really can't breathe, I do not suggest doing it. Like, I woke up from the surgery like, oh, dude, this is nothing, you know. And my boy's like, bro, you're on fentanyl. I was like, oh yeah. When the fentanyl wore off, I had gotten COVID the day before the surgery too. So like, they stick these big rubber tubes into your nose and, like, you know, they snip the inside of your nose and like sew it back together and put these rubber tubes in it. I had no idea that's what they did till the next week when they pulled him out. And he's like, you ready? I'm like, yeah. Like, he pulled one out and it was like this long, like each nostril, you know, and it was like silicone, you know what I mean? But having the COVID and the nose surgery, it hurt when I closed my eyes. It hurt when I opened my eyes. It was extremely painful. Now I can breathe a lot better. Like, I had got the surgery because I was getting really bad headaches, you know. I just had migraines all the time. Like, so I got the surgery. They had prescribed me codeine 4s, and I was calling my sponsor, you know, because I was taking them as I always say, subscribe to my channel if you're watching this, and you mess with me, you know, fucks with me, fuck it. I was taking codeine 4s as prescribed, so one every 6 hours, like nothing. I didn't even feel like warm or like itchy, nothing. It was whack, dude. And like, my boy's like, bro, if you're in pain, just double up on them. I'm like, no, like, I have to take them as prescribed or I got to restart my days, right? So I'd call my sponsor, like, hey, I'm going to take a pill. Cool, it's been 6 hours. Yep. Like, if it was 5 hours and 59 minutes, that fool would make me wait a minute till it hit 6 hours to take my pill. And so I'd do that, and then I took them for like the first 2 days, and I was like, man, like, I don't, for this shit, like, gave it to my homie to do, right? And so I'm not sure if that triggered the obsession or craving in my mind to use, but I'll tell you this, like, you know, a lot of people think that, you know, once you've been sober, like detox, like, you can stay sober for a little bit just off willpower alone. I can, but you know, if you don't have some spiritual solution in exchange for like the drugs, because the drugs were our solution, right? You're screwed. So it was being dry for like about a year with no meetings and no sponsorship, no being of service, right? And then I got the surgery, took the pills. I'm living at this, for those who have been here with me since the gate, like, you saw that pimp ass crib that I lived at in Marina Del Rey, right above the marina. Our next door neighbor was Elon Musk's mom. It was fire. Like, what's his name, dude? Michael Keaton from Birdman. Michael Keaton had a house there. Snoop Dogg has an apartment there. That was a cool building. Yeah, I had gotten evicted. I got in a fight with somebody there. I had gotten evicted, and now I'm like, you know, 2.5+ years sober, abstinent at this point because no spiritual solution, right? And I'm like, I had left the apartment and I was sleeping in my car, Now, at this time, I just started dating this girl who was a normie, right? And like, we were like, whatever, like exclusively dating, right? But like, I wasn't even really into her, dude. Like, she was really, really cool, but she wasn't even that hot. Like, but like, what oxytocin is? Not Oxycontin, guys. Oxytocin, Oxytocin. If you smash someone for long enough and exchange fluids and whatnot, like it's a chemical thing that happens in your brain. Like you will start having feelings for that person, dude. And I believe that's what happened. And she was like, I'm emotionally unavailable. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, I'm pretty sure I am too, let's run it, and she ended up really being that, and I didn't even know what that was. Like, so when that I had expectations of that relationship, when that didn't work out, that's when things really spiraled out of control, and just like weeks prior, I had a friend in the program in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I had like gone to meet up with her, and she's like showing me her new place, and she's like, I see a bottle of kratom on her dresser, and I'm like, do you take that shit? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, does your sponsor know? And this chick had like years sober, right? I was like, does your sponsor know? She's like, no. But it's all about intention, And my brain goes, oh shit, it's all about intention. It's all about intention. It's all about intention. And I took that and ran with it. So the girl, the one that's emotionally unavailable, like out of nowhere, we're going to brunch in Hermosa Beach. That's a beautiful little beach area of Los Angeles County, South Bay area of Los Angeles. We go to brunch. We're on our way to brunch, and with no mental defense at all, like I wasn't even thinking of getting high, but I see a smoke shop. I'm like, stop here. She's like, why? I was like, I need some kratom. She's like, are you sure you can take that? And I'm like, yeah, it's all about intention, And I took the liquid shots of kratom, dude. I do not recommend taking that if you're a opiate user or ex-opiate user like me, unless of course you have severe pain. Yes, it is a better alternative than street opiates or pharmaceutical opiates for sure. Like take kratom, it's from the coffee plant, but whatever hits your opiate receptors hits your opiate receptors. You know what I'm saying? So I took that liquid shot of kratom, and that shit smacked, bro. Like I'm at brunch, like nodding out, scratching my legs, like till they were bleeding. Like I felt like I took like 2 yellow Norc 10s for the first time, dude. And later that night, I'm calling one of my plugs for black tar, and I'm doing black tar for 2 days. And for any of you that are watching this, this is pre Ryan Leone's death. This is summer 20. This was like about this time, 2021. So if you do the math, it's June 3rd, 2024 today. Today's my 30 days. If you do the math, that was about about a year and a month before Ryan died, almost on the date. He died July 2nd, 2022. So that night I'd called my Black Connect, and then I'm with this fool, and I don't like this guy. He's not someone I have to worry about. Like I would mollywop that fool like so hard. But I guess we're not cool. Like I ran into him on the train a few months ago, and he's like, hey bro, I just want to say, like we're cool, but like we're not cool. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, fuck, really, man? Like what a terrible loss. Like what am I gonna do with my life, right? But I got a lot of love for this guy because he Narcaned me back to life. Like 2 days after I had relapsed and hit up my black plug, right? Like I had went to go meet up with him, and he didn't have any black. He just had fentanyl. And I took one little baby hit to like test the taste and smoke. I was like, oh yeah, cool. It didn't do shit. Then I took another hit, and I wake up like, I feel like, was I seeing blue? I don't know. I felt like, imagine just floating like weightless in the ocean, right? Or like a lake. right? And my body's like vibrating, and I'm hearing like this woman's voice, and I'm like, it felt peaceful, you know? And I wake up and then realize that the lady's voice was my homie on speakerphone with 911, and the lady was talking him through how to Narcan me and give me CPR or whatever, chest compressions. He had Narcaned me twice and brought me back to life. So I have a lot of love for that guy. I don't say no names, but if you watch this, you probably know who you are. And he had cracked 3 of my ribs from being Narcan overdosing. You know, I'm gonna stop it right there. We just hit 15 minutes. So this is the relapse part 1. So yeah, the paramedics came, and I had like weight on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, fuck. I heard woo woo. I was like, I gotta go, bro. He's like, nah, stay. So I'm like, shit. I like stashed the shit, and they come up and they were like, we need to take you to the ER because the Narcan, because like really though, the Narcan can wear off, and then you can OD again, right? And they were like, we need to take you to the ER. I'm like, no way. I didn't want to go. So they had me sign. I signed a liability form, basically stating like I won't sue them if the Narcan kicks back in and I die. And this is the insidious insanity of addiction. As soon as they left, I was pissed that like because when you get Narcan, it sucks all the opiate out of your system, right? So I'm sick already, and you know, I left there and went straight to the plug's house. Like, that's the crazy part. Like, that's not normal. Normal people, if they overdose, they're like, I'm never doing that again, and they don't, you know? That was probably like the 40th time I've been Narcan back to life, because I had this last run in the last 3 years, I had 7 overdoses. 1 dead on arrival. I was pronounced dead, and I woke up. 7 overdoses. You know what I'm saying? It's not safe out there anymore, man. The party is over. If any of you are struggling, I hope you've gotten something out of what I've shared in the relapse part 1. There is a solution. They're called 12-step programs. Google that shit. You will have a spiritual experience that will rid you of the obsession to get high, and bring you back to a sane state of mind and body. You know what I mean? I promised you guys like a week ago I'm going to be more consistent with these videos. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Drop in the comments what kind of stuff you want to hear. I will be getting into some stories about my boy Ryan Leone. Palabra.